It's drizzling a little bit. Let's see if it stops as some of the sky's bright. And I guess with that in mind, what's going on today? Apparently in the US, Zipline, it says here, achieved a Part 135 from the FAA. That's the drone delivery company, which is interesting because they had to take their operations out of the US because of, I guess, over-the-top regulations, but I guess now they can do it in their own home country. It says today, Zipline achieved Part 135 air carrier certification from the FAA. Being certified as a US airline is a powerful step forward towards scaling safe, sustainable drone delivery operations in the US and around the world. Zipline is now approved to fly the longest, most complex drone delivery network in the US, including operations over people and in both uncontrolled and controlled airspace. It says achieving this certification required years of work to meet the FAA's rigorous operational standards and reflects our whole of a company commitment to operating at the highest levels of safety and reliability. We are rapidly expanding service to US customers, working to create a better future for the communities in our own backyard by growing access to the products people need and making last mile delivery safer and more sustainable. I think that's a key thing too, last mile delivery, where this thing's not going to be going into your backyard anyways from the sounds of it. Although that's what companies like, say, a Walmart and Amazon are proposing to do. But just in general, the regulations and stuff, in my opinion, they got in the way of people trying to innovate. I mean, you can be safe and all that, but it's just odd, and it's one of the funniest stories of a company where, again, they had to take their operations elsewhere to basically start up, I guess you could say. Now the question is too, will that result in, I guess, more banning of recreational drones around the area? Again, all of a sudden it's okay for stuff like this to be around. Although in terms of banning, I guess here it says they're banning things like what? Single-use plastics here in Canada. This one says Government of Canada delivers on commitment to ban harmful single-use plastics. It says here no one wants to see plastic litter in their local park or hiking trail or on the shoreline where their kids play. That's why the Government of Canada has moved forward a comprehensive plan to ban harmful single-use plastics and keep them out of the environment. And what do they mean, I guess, in terms of, I guess, plastic items? It says checkout bags, cutlery, food serviceware made from or containing problematic plastics that are hard to recycle, ring carriers, stir sticks, and straws. The ban on the manufacture and import of these harmful single-use plastics, barring a few targeted exceptions to recognize specific cases, will come into effect on December 2022, it says, according to this anyways. Kind of reminds me, someone said before, in the past, there were a lot of supermarkets that used to use things like paper bags, for example, but then they decided to get rid of it, saying plastic was so much better. Now it's the other way around. So that's kind of interesting. And this was kind of an interesting read. I don't think it was surprising overall, but apparently there was this article saying how, I guess, the surveillance in China is a lot bigger than people would imagine. It says here, the New York Times studied China's surveillance capabilities by examining more than 100,000 government bidding documents. China's ambition to collect personal data is more expensive and invasive than previously known, our investigation found. The documents, which call for companies to bid on contracts to provide surveillance technology, often include requirements and budget details, and sometimes describe at length the strategic thinking behind the purchases. I'm not surprised, personally. Although, funny enough, I guess in relation to that, this apparently was spreading around recently, where the claim was the Chinese government were using things like what? The COVID pass system to block people from doing things like protests. That's the claim anyways. Here it says, China COVID pass system allegedly used to block protests, sparking furious condemnation online. Residents are required to scan codes on their smartphones to access public venues and transport nationwide. Those with red codes either infected themselves or contacts of a COVID case have their movements severely restricted. Authorities in central China allegedly used the country's powerful COVID tracking system to stop an anticipated protest, state media reported, sparking furious condemnation online on Wednesday. China relies on a vast coronavirus surveillance infrastructure to carry out rigorous contact tracing as part of its zero COVID strategy to stamp out all outbreaks. So the claim here, according to this, is they have these pass where it's supposed to be where if you have COVID, according to them, or someone around you during that time, then your code, like your QR code or whatever, will be red. So that's supposed to be a way of saying, I don't know, stay home, avoid various places to not spread the virus and all that. But Here, they're alleging these people, they had no, I guess, contact with anyone. They didn't have the virus, but all of a sudden, their code became red. And the accusation, like they say, is they were using this as a way to control people to stop protesting and so forth. That's the claim anyways. Ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. It is like a communist country overall. But just in general, that's kind of frightening, isn't it? If anyone can do stuff like this. So you have to kind of make sure it never happens, in my opinion. What the heck? It's like so casual. Alright, see you guys later.